Hey guys, it's Marty and welcome to Two Line Slot Cars. This week we are going to talk about the price to go fast. We are preparing for the Nationals event for NSR at Cloverleaf in November. And yes, it's September. We're already prepping cars. And there are two classes that are going to be run. And we have to really prep not just two cars, but 4 or 5, 6 cars, right? We're not sure what the track's going to be like, what type of layout it is, so what car is really going to be the fastest. So we've got to have a couple cars prepared for the Nationals. And these are NSR Can-Am cars and NSR GT cars. But holy cow, you have to follow the rules. And you guys know me, I am a rule follower to the T. It's not that I don't misinterpret. I basically don't read anything into the interpretation. I do not make interpretations of the rules. I just look at them as black and white and live with those, which is probably why I never win. But it's interesting to think about. They're really trying to keep these cars as stock as possible. Yet, because they allow you to do a few things, it really drives the cost of these cars up. So the average cost of an NSR car is around $80, right? $80, $85. Right up there with all the other high-end cars. Then you have to turn around and add a wood guide, because the guide that comes with them on stock isn't great on plastic track. And we know that the Nationals are going to be ran on plastic track. You got to upgrade the guide. You probably need to pick up a couple motors to make sure that the motor you get that came with the car, just to make sure it's not a dud, right? So you've got extra motors, you've got extra guides, you've got changing to racing braid, right? You've got all kinds of things. I mean, how deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Do you go to a Lexan interior in some of these cars? Now, the C8 Corvette, we know, NSR really has done a great job of making the interior in this. It floats and it's very light. So most people are probably not going to change out this interior. But for the vintage class, those interiors, you can get a Lexan interior and really lighten that body up. I know that the rules are there to try to keep the cost in control. I know these companies, they also want to sell parts. And so do you go to hollow axles, save a little bit of weight? Do you have to run the stock wheels, but you have to run inserts? The inserts that come with them stock. There's all these things that they're trying to keep the rules to allow the cost to stay under control. But if you want to be competitive, you've got to go do all the extra stuff. So I've got a box of parts. The price tag on this was $150. And I don't have a car. I've got extra chassis. I've got an extra pod. I've got racing bushings. I've got axles. I've got all these parts for one car. So I took an $80 car and I spent another $150 on it just in the hopes that I can make it fast enough to be competitive. And then it's all about me and my ability to drive. And we know how good that is. So the price to go fast, it's pretty expensive. So let's tear into this box, see what I got. I should probably grab the right car. All of this is for my favorite NSR car that I own, the 908. So here it is, the Porsche 908 3. It's the number 31 livery. This was a DNF finish in Le Mans. But it's one of my favorite liveries. I think this car looks awesome on the track. I love it. But when I first bought it, I converted it to a digital car. And because of that, you can see the body's cracked, broken. All of the motor is gone in the back. It's all been broken off. Those pieces are somewhere in a pile of stuff on this desk. Kind of irreparable. What I'm trying to do is prep this car for the Nationals. So what do I have to do to make it faster? Well, one thing I have to do is I've got to change to the wood guide that works a little better. This guide's not horrible on my plastic track. It's not deep enough. I've got room to go a little deeper. So the wood guide lets you, the NSR wood guide lets you go deeper. Normally, I would have a slot invasion guide on this, but the rules don't allow it. You can use different screws. So I'm using the NSR float screws for the body, but I'm using the stock chassis and the stock motor pod. But as you can see, I've got the 22.5 ball bearing motor in this because it's just such a great motor. So now I have to put the original motor back in it, which is in another car. Now, another $17, $18 for the 21.5, the pink motor, which is the one allowed in this car. Let's take a look at what we got. And listen, I'm not complaining about spending the money. It's just you need to recognize to go fast and be competitive, it costs money. And it doesn't matter what the hobby is, whether it's slot cars, whether it's RC cars, whether it's one-to-one racing. If you want to go fast, it's going to cost you money. There are lots of rules out there at tracks that they try to create to help drivers and help car owners be able to control costs. You know, you can claim motors. They're doing all kinds of things at some of the lower level races to try to help people save some money. And I appreciate when track owners are trying to do that. I appreciate the fact that the NSR Nationals, they're making you use all stock NSR parts, but they're allowing you to do the upgraded parts. And that's where it all comes into play. So if one person does it and the other 50 people who show up to race don't, then the one person has an advantage. I think that you could change the rules to say, listen, we're going to hand out a motor when you get there, and that's the motor you need to race with. And it has got to be bone stock. No change in the guide, no change in anything. And that's the only way you could control the cost. Because if you say, oh, you're allowed to use NSR parts to upgrade, people are going to go to hollow axles. People are going to go to different chassis for the car. Now, for the last few years, the car to race has been the 908. It tends to be the most popular. I think for the style of the track, it probably, overall, the 908-3 is a phenomenal car. The GT40 is a great car, but we've not seen that car really, we've not seen it have success at this race, right? So the GT40 is an eligible car. I'm going to race prep this just so that I've got a couple of options when I get there. I also have a P68 that I am going to take that is going to be pretty close to being race prepped, just in case the P68 becomes the car that everybody's using. Kind of doubt it, but there are some guys that get that car to run really well. So my plan is the 908, and so that's what this box of parts really focuses on. So let's see what we got. All right. We have the blue soft chassis for the 908-3 because some friends of ours say that that's the chassis that they like. That's the chassis that I have on the P68. I don't feel like it does a great job on the plastic track, but we'll see. Since I've got some issues with the 908 body and missing parts, I picked up a 908 body kit so that I can actually paint and create my own livery. Just to be honest with you, I'm probably just going to take some of the parts off this, repair this so that I can use this livery because I definitely cannot paint a car. So you see where all this stuff is starting to add up, right? Now we have a bag of parts. $150, folks. What else do we have? We have a Lexan body, or Lexan interior for the 908. I have a multiple variety of axle spacers. This is anything and everything, 5 different sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes of axle spacers at $4 a pack. Now, it's not like I'm going to use all this for one car. This supply should last me years, but it was a cost. What else do we have? Okay, we have racing axles. These are lightweight axles. I got a set for me and a set for my brother. And then we all have some offset bearings and some pinion gears. We have another motor. I can give Dusty his back that he tried to give me this past week. I've got another spur gear, some extra wood guides, and then I have the yellow motor pod, which is supposed to be a lightweight motor pod. And then I have weight. So I have basically did a bunch of things to make the car lighter so that I can put weight in it. Never said I was a smart man, but there you go. All of this is to make this car, this car, this car, this car, this car, and this car all go faster. So I can use these parts on all these cars, but this is what I'm tuning to go to one race for 2 classes. So I've got basically 3 cars for each class. I actually have another GT40. So if I don't want to use this GT40 that I have not opened. The price to go fast, that's $150 with parts. Really, for just one car, because all the major parts that I've ordered are for the 908. Now, I have enough parts here. I have everything but wheels to build another slot car, to be fair. So if I take some of that stuff out, we're talking about I probably invested another $60 to make this car go fast. And it was originally $80, $89, right? You can get into a white kit for $69 or $72, $73. It costs money to go fast. And so that's the beauty of this hobby, though. You can choose what level you're willing to jump in. When I first started this, and my brother and John Mark, Dusty and John Mark, we're all in on digital racing. And we were buying digital cars, and we were keeping the cost down. And then we started dabbling in racing at Cincy Slots, and everything changed. And not that overall this hobby still is pretty inexpensive. I can go buy this car and spend $90, $8 on a set of tires, lube it up, adjust the front end, and go have a blast racing at Cincy Slots and probably finish not dead last. I've gone and had a good time and not spent a ton of money. And for the month that they're racing this class, I could race this car. But we know how it is. We want to go faster. We want to be more competitive. We don't want to finish last. Now, we know that everybody, at some point in their slot car racing career, they finish last. And then if you don't invest some money to make your car just a little bit better, a little bit can go a long way, right? So a little investment, a little learn how to tune, understand what True tires is, understand what setting up the front end of a slot car, changing the guide out, getting your braids right, all of that. Some of that stuff is free. Some of it's just knowledge because you invest the time to learn. But other things, it's just a flat out, you pay to replace the guide, to put a slot invasion guide on it. It's $4. It's not a lot of money, but it's something, right? So to go faster, to make your car perform better, sometimes you have to invest a little bit of money in it. And then when you find yourself going to a nationals race for the first time, you don't want to go and embarrass yourself. So you spend $150 on parts that you might need so that you can do the work right now and get your cars the best they can be. It costs money to go fast. The faster you want to go, the more money it's going to cost. But overall, it's the beauty of this hobby. It's not exorbitant. You can spend as much money as you want. You can spend thousands of dollars on this if you would like. Honestly, $1,000 in this hobby can go a long, long way. $1,000 in RC racing does not go near as far as it used to. And $1,000 is not even one night at the racetrack for a 1-to-1 race car. So it's all perspective. It's all, what do you want to spend? But it does cost money to go fast. So I'm happy with my parts. I'm glad they're here. I'm going to get started on this, and I'm sure I'll do a tuning video of what I've done to the 908 and getting it prepped and ready for the race. Now, I know there are a lot of you who reach out to me and say, Marty, what are you doing? Why are you sharing all this information before the race? What happens if you build a car and you like go win the race? Now, that'd be awesome, but it's not going to happen. But what if I build a fast car and I can help other people build fast cars too? That's the purpose of my YouTube channel, to learn something myself and share it with my friends and my family and my people, my community. So that's why we do this. If you want to tune a car, make it go fast, sometimes you got to spend a little bit of money. Hopefully, a lot of these parts will last me a long time. I won't have to use them all. I bought the right stuff. Gosh, never even thought about that. What if the blue chassis is not the right chassis? Oh, well, we're not going to spend any more money on these cars. When we're done with it, it's going to be as fast as it can be, that I can make it. And that'll be up to me to drive it around the track fast. So, guys, if you like this kind of content, if you're interested in the rest of this story, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, hit the bell so you get notified anytime I put out new content. I really enjoy this. This is a lot of fun, and I'm glad you jump into the community with me, and you share your knowledge, and you help me be a better slot car guy. And hopefully I can share that with the community. So, guys, go have some fun racing.